Good morning. It is the 3rd of February, 2025. And I'm your host, Doc. And I'm here to fill you in on what's new this week, class wise, world wise, not that wise. The quote for today from Marcus Aurelius, famed Stoic Roman emperor, and probably fairly apropos for everything going on. When jarred, unavoidably, by circumstances, revert at once to yourself and don't lose the rhythm more than you can help. You'll have a better grasp of harmony if you can keep on going back to it. So again, Marcus Aurelius reminds us that when jarred unavoidably by circumstances, revert at once to yourself and don't lose the rhythm more than you can help. You'll have a better grasp of harmony if you can keep on going back to it. And so, again, if we think about the kind of turbulent times that we're going through, some people feel we're going through, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, disoriented, and disconnected. But remember that we have an inner rhythm that grounds us. And Marcus Aurelius reminds us the key to resilience is returning to ourselves, returning to a core of sense and purpose. So I just want to remind you today that you have to listen to yourself. Listen to your gut. Listen to your heart. Listen to your head. But most importantly, make sure that you're feeding all of those things, right? The required nutrients and sustenance that they deserve. So, again, a little, if the theme today is anything, it is self care. It is worry about yourself, take care of yourself. Something we say in our house. So I just want to remind everyone, remind you again about upcoming events and the upcoming lectures that I'll be holding on campus, as well as in the area that you're more than welcome to attend. I highly recommend that you come to the campus one if you're on campus. So again, the details here, and I've got more information. Let me. On the 16th of April at noon on campus, you will see the Henry Ford on Henry Ford College campus. You will find I'll be giving a lecture about Autism Awareness Month, dispelling and discussing myths about autism. Likewise, again, everyone's welcome, regardless of whether you're in the class or not. Hopefully, there'll be some light refreshment so you can eat while you listen. Plan on getting some, hopefully getting some pizzas for everybody. So come one, come all. Hope to see you all there on the 16th. And I'll talk about some other events coming up at the end of the broadcast. So, as I mentioned, self-care, very important. And self-care is really this idea that Marcus Aurelius asks us to go back to this sense of harmony, right? Listening to ourselves, getting in with our rhythms, the things that we feel are important. And this idea is echoed in the news. And so, looking at some of the news from this week, the National Catholic Reporter reflected on self-care as a form of political resistance. basically we're going to explore in this episode how nurturing your well-being is not a retreat from activism, but rather it's something that sustains it. So whatever your purpose, whatever your meaning is in life, and again, I'm not talking about political only. I'm not talking about social only. I'm not talking about religious only. Even artistic, creative, intellectual. The idea of stepping away from it, we often think of the grind culture, the grind culture, the grind culture. But the idea of stepping away from your purpose, even, but definitely your job, your occupation, and taking a break for yourself is, well, lack of a better word, it's important, right? So when we think about, self-preservation, self-care, and even in times where we get ready to fight for whatever we believe in, we need to make sure, even Martin Luther King would say, you go through a point of self-purification. So you have to check in. So I wanted to talk about, in the face of political challenges, maintaining personal well-being is important. And Audre Lorde asserts that caring for myself is not self-indulgence. It is self-preservation. Self-preservation. It's an act of political warfare. So the idea of when your work and your mind and your joy is really commodified, right? And it's something that other people see as something to be extracted from you, you really need to protect that, right? And so your well-being, your self-care is important. So I want you to think about this week. And as we navigate the complexities of the current landscape, it's essential to adopt strategies that promote personal health and effective activism. All right. So this approach assures that our efforts towards justice and peace are sustainable over a long time. So I want you to think about how, and again, this comes from the National Catholic Reporter. This is their list of how to get ready for the road ahead. The first step is political engagement, local involvement, participate in community meetings, local governance, and you got to influence things at the grassroots level. A lot of people think that you got to go right to the top, but really all politics are local. And we know this in Dearborn. We know that this is one of the things that I think makes Dearborn awesome, is the fact that we are very grassroots and connected. And that's one of the things that I think if you haven't tapped into in the Detroit metro region, even the Flint metro region, if you haven't tapped into that local sense of pride, hit me up and I'll help you tap into it. Another way is advocacy. Think about the policies, the initiatives, the ideas that you agree with, and focus on those, right? You cannot fix everything, but you can fix something, one thing, a small thing, right? So intellectual resistance, well, continually learning, staying informed about developments, understanding implications, reading books, reading newspapers, all of that stuff is going to feed your intellectual well-being. Don't just go to the stuff that makes you feel good intellectually. You need to challenge yourself. Okay, you've got to remain neuro nimble, right? So this idea of continuous learning and then getting critical analysis, and this goes along with kind of being neuro nimble. Engage with diverse perspectives, right? Deepen your understanding by challenging your own thoughts. And this is one of the best ways that you can keep your intellectual muscle flexible, right? And then third, spiritual and emotional well-being. Think about mindfulness. Okay, even I know this comes from a religious magazine, but they're talking about mindfulness in this list. This idea of being present. Think about meditation or prayer or reflection, even to maintain an inner peace. You have to touch base with yourself. Even dialectical behavioral therapy, things like this. All of these ways in which you stop take pause, and then move forward, be it talk to a deity, whatever. But taking a moment to reflect and see where you are, notice in the moment where you are. And then lastly, community support. Connect with like minded individuals, share experiences, provide mutual encouragement, mutual support. Um, find your people. And I know a lot of you have, but continue. And if you're doing those first couple things, and you're challenging yourself and you're reading, you're going to expand that community. As your mind expands, right? Your community will expand. So if you integrate these practices, you can build resilience, you can continue commitment to justice, to the idea of peace, or whatever ideals you hold true. I want you to think about what you hold true, and I want you to fight for that, but I want you to fight for it healthily. Okay. So again, I'm not telling you what to think. I'm not telling you who to follow, who to believe, but do so mindfully, do so critically, and do so carefully. Okay. So this brings us to an interesting question. As we've seen, self-care isn't just about personal well-being. It can be a powerful form of resistance, right? Long-term activism, long-term engagement in society by taking breaks. But this principle doesn't just stop at an individual level. When we think about it, the same need for resilience and alignment with core values applies to institutions, especially in today's shifting political and social climate. Just as individuals risk burnout without self-care, companies can face social, legal, financial, reputational risks when they abandon their commitments. And so going forward, I want people to think about their commitments to inclusive and equitable and diverse environments, right? I want to explore how scaling back these efforts in what people are calling DEI is not just a political misstep, but it's bad for business. All right. Exposing companies to lawsuits, regulatory scrutiny, and the erosion of public trust. And so Reuters reports, right, that in the evolving corporate landscape, businesses are reassessing their DEI initiatives. And while some companies are scaling back these programs due to political pressures, it's crucial to recognize the potential risks of such actions. Abandoning DEI efforts, according to Reuters, can lead to significant legal and financial consequences. So, what are the implications? Legal, discrimination lawsuits, right? Obviously, companies reducing these initiatives expose companies to claims of discrimination, as these programs often played a vital role in ensuring compliance with equal opportunity laws, which haven't gone away. Regulatory scrutiny. Obviously, companies that eliminate DEI programs might attract attention from regulatory bodies, leading to investigations and maybe even penalties. There are financial risks, though, beyond those penalties, because there are those litigation costs, legal challenges, even if they're in the right, even if companies are in the right, it's going to cost them money. It's going to cost them money, and this is going to be a financial burden. And if they are a publicly traded company, they are spending other people's money, right? And stockholders do not like that. Legal fees, settlement costs, all of this stuff costs money. And then this will lead to investor concerns. Shareholders are increasingly attentive to corporate governance and social responsibility. We saw this in Costco just this weekend. Costco, last week, their shareholders, board of directors, they said, nope, we're going to keep DEI, right? We're making a kind of a strategic plan. This is part of our mission, right? I know JP Morgan Chase said the same thing. So this could lead to dissatisfaction if people pull back from this. It could also lead to dissatisfaction if they don't pull back from this, but we haven't seen that. We haven't seen people resoundingly say, I'm pulling my money because you're welcoming, right? But then there's also the reputational damage. There's the public perception. Now, I know that there are times where there's ebb and flow to public perception, but people have to think about the long game and trajectory, right? Is this a correction? Is this an ebb to the flow? Abandoning DEI efforts can harm a company's reputation and ultimately then sales, customer loyalty as well. But then there's also what I worry about a lot is employee morale. If I were working in a company or a business that looked on rolling this back talking about, merit and da 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 da. It's kind of like when companies give hiring bonuses and all that other stuff to new employees, and then they come in making more money than the current employees, and the current employees are going, well, why am I not appreciated? So if I were in a company that was rolling back one of their DEI initiatives, and again, I may not look it, but I could be right considered by these social definitions. A DEI hire. Might I then question my efficacy as an employee, and then might that lead to poor performance or worse, right? We know mental health is not the best in this country, so it could be worse. So how do we sum this up? While external pressures may prompt some organizations to reconsider their DEI strategies, it's essential to weigh these decisions against the potential legal, financial, and reputational risks. If they maintain these robust initiatives, not only does it foster a more inclusive workplace, but it safeguards against various business risks. And let's be honest, it keeps you globally competitive, unless you want to be, competitive in countries that do not believe in inclusion and equity. So while companies navigating DEI challenges face legal and reputational risks, the core issue often comes down to accessibility. Whether it's in the workplace or in the products and services that they offer, accessibility isn't just about policies. It's about meeting people where they are, understanding their diverse needs, and creating environments that foster inclusion. And this idea extends beyond, right, corporate boardrooms, self-care, but also it extends to everyday food. Now, food is part of that self-care process, and it's one of those things that some people in the neurodivergent community, like myself, might have a problem doing, right? That sometimes there are lots of correlations between eating disorders and neurodivergence. It's not causation, but it's correlation. And we know that for many individuals, fast food can offer predictability and a sensory friendly experience, right? It's the same thing every time. And if you have avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, or what we call ARFID, which is a medical diagnosis, that is one of the things that fast food can offer stability. And so for neurodivergent individuals, fast food offers consistency, predictability, and comfort, right? What Humanities 101 we call wormholing, right? This idea of, with these rough transitions and with the lack of predictability, going back to something that is known. This is that need for schedule, that need for structure. And so that food can offer that structure. And so the uniform textures, familiar flavors, standardization of preparation, all of this stuff helps reduce food-related anxiety and sensory overwhelm. But we got to balance this with the nutritional needs, all right? And for someone like myself who has had a surgery that has restricted my food intake, bariatric surgery, I have to look at high protein. But let's be honest, everybody's talking about high protein. So what I thought would be interesting today would to be talk about some of the options that are available. And Delish, the publication, made some highlighted some big basically, they created a list. Okay, so Delish has highlighted some of the top picks from popular chains, along with nutritionist recommendations for better alternatives. So I want to give you a breakdown here. Okay, I want to show you what I guess, eat this, not that. Okay. All right. So what we have here, there we go. Here I am. Haha. This is Wendy's. And this is the triple mushroom bacon cheeseburger. It contains 84 grams of protein. If I ate this thing, I would be done for the day. However, I would be done for the day. It's because it's 97 grams of fat, 1,300 calories, and a whopping 1,890 milligrams of sodium. Holy crap. So if we look at a healthier alternative, if we look at this healthier alternative, there we go. We're looking at the grilled chicken wrap. And that's 33 grams of protein. So you would need, about 3 of those to equal out one of those triple bacon cheeseburgers. But this is much lower in calories and fat compared. So that's Wendy's. But what about the King? Well, a lot of people go for triple Whopper. Triple Whopper. Holy hell. A triple Whopper with bacon and cheese, which this one looks like a double with, I guess there's some cheese there. But this sucker has 82.5 grams of protein, 1,350 calories, 94 grams of fat, and it is 10 milligrams off of 2,000 milligrams of sodium. Holy crap. So what's better? Well, tender grill sandwich. Burger King has a tender grill. This 32 grams of protein, significantly lower in calories and fat, right? So again, I just like you to know, this is one of those things that, you can't always eat right. So you need to eat well. This is the Beast No Bready Bowl. And this is 66 grams at Subway, but it has 1,090 calories and 3,500 grams of sodium. Holy Jesus. Now, a healthier alternative, obviously. Oh, wait. Oh, no, that was that's not the bread. Yeah, no, that is the Beast No Bready Bowl. And I don't have a picture of the other one. It's the oven roasted turkey wrap. So I apologize. I don't look at me with, poorly prepared. Executive dysfunction. All right, so let's move on to Panda Express, one of my girls' favorites. All right, both the wife and the kid love this one. And this is the double protein plate with 72 grams of protein, only 900 calories, but a lot of sodium, 2,300 grams of sodium. A healthier alternative at the old Express. Oh man, did I get those pictures? No. This is right. This is the protein and fiber plate. And so when we look at this, we're looking at 38 grams of protein, but it's lower in calories and sodium, obviously. Now, we all know what this sucker is, right? McDonald's. That's the McDonald's. That's a McDonald's. No, it's a double quarter pounder with cheese, 48 grams of protein. Not a lot of protein if you think about all that beef. But 740 calories and 1,360 milligrams of sodium. So that sucker packs a little bit of a punch in the sodium. Again, nothing like Panda Express. Absolutely nothing like Subway. Why are those heart doctors tell us to eat at Subway if they got something that's 35? Anyway, don't ask me. What's a healthier alternative to McDonald's? Always, always, always go for the nuggies. Don't take my nuggies. 23 grams of protein. These are lower, obviously, in sodium and calories. And I will tell you, as someone who has lived off of these, I lived off of them for a couple months because I would get like a 4-piece, and for the whole week, that's what I would eat. So they're really good on your tummy too. And then we've got the Colonel. What does the Colonel have for us? Well, the original recipe chicken breast, 39 grams of protein, 400 calories, 1,200 grams of sodium, but they've got grilled chicken. I don't know. That's 38 grams of protein too, and obviously lower in calories. But if I'm going to be at KFC, I'm not eating grocery store chicken. Come on. I'm going to eat KFC, but I don't like KFC as much as I like Popeyes, as much as I like Church's, as much as I like other chicken places. So Miller's Chicken, Athens, Ohio. Big shout out. Okay. What else do we have? One final one, Domino's. All right. This is the highest protein option. This is the chicken carbonara pasta. This is 68 grams of protein. This is their highest protein option at Domino's, but it has 1,340 calories, 2,390 on the milligrams of sodium. Jeezy criminy. It's a lot of salty food. Maybe that's why. Oh, well, no, I'm just kidding. And then what is the healthier alternative? The healthier alternative, 25 grams of protein. Come on. You got to go with the Well, that's not a grilled chicken Caesar salad. That's a pizza. Well, hell, I guess I'm having a pizza. Forget the salad. I don't care. No protein, just pizza. Again, I kid. I kid. Um, so I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about some of the things that I utilize uh, in everyday life, and I will tell you, one of the things that I'm working on right now is my checklist. This is I use daily, and this is just a visual but tangible, right? This slides over. Oh yeah. Yeah. And then I have all the wonderful things to do on the checklist. And I utilize these. I attach them with a little poster putty to a table, to a wall, wherever you need to be. I'm going to attach this one up to where I get ready in the morning. Have my daughter get ready and stuff, and I drink a cup of coffee and kind of read the news. But I'm going to have that checklist there to remind myself to do the good things, to drink the waters, to maybe do a few calisthenics, to take my medicine, take my vitamins, that kind of stuff. So I want to encourage you with the theme being self care and with taking care of oneself. I want you to think about that. And I've got in the link tree off of the social medias and stuff. I'm gonna be putting the Amazon storefront up, but I've got a storefront where I've got all this stuff linked, so that if you're interested in this, you can check that out. Just because people have asked and asked and asked, and they asked me the search terms and all that other things. Again, any purchases that you make, that all goes to charity. Okay, doesn't go to me, so I'm not making any money. Don't feel like there's anything nefarious here. It all goes to outreach and education, and support, and that's all oversight and 501c3 and stuff. So everything's on the up and up. So just a couple things before we leave. It's been about a half hour so far, but I wanted to mention today Mr. AJ's Special Place in Hell Award, because every week this curmudgeonly old person, Mr. AJ, crawls out and reminds me we were to be better, right? Shaking their fist, they angrily reminded me this week that the honorable mention goes to people who blame airplane crashes on dwarves, amputees, and epileptics. So, again, absolutely ludicrous, but causes real damage, causes real harm to real people. And now there are people calling for disabled people to not be working at all. And these are people that are sitting in the halls of Congress. But not to be outdone is a man who won Mr. AJ's Special Place in Hell Award this week, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who refused in front of a medical doctor to deny that medical science has long discredited the theory that autism and vaccines have a correlation, or worse, a causation. But yes, he was questioned outright. He sat there and said, well, I need to check the evidence. And so as I pick up this handkerchief to hope that the evidence of gravity, nope, still there, I'm going to trust the science. So Mr. AJ reminds us that we must be better. All right. And guys, again, going through this week, when you question whether you should step aside, step back, take a moment for yourself, I want you to remember what our friend Travis reminds us.
Let's do it, everybody.
He reminds you that when you don't know if you should drink some water,
let's do it, everybody.
If you don't know if maybe you should get an extra hour of sleep tonight,
let's do it, everybody.
Or if you should study for that freaking test.
Let's do it, everybody.
He always gives us good advice. Travis, thank you so much. Everybody there, thank you so much. And I will see you next week on the 10th of February for the Nacho Hour. I'm not Nacho. This is the Neuro Affirming Conversation Hour of outreach and support. Come here for some nachos. Stay here for some knowledge.